You're listening to Soap Dirt, the latest in television entertainment news.
Hey Days fans, it is Belinda from Soap Dirt here, and we've got Stephanie Johnson in bed and all loved up with Everett Lynch, but we all know that relationship has an expiration date on it. When it blows up in her face, who is going to be Stephanie's rebound? Will she go back to one of her other Salem exes? Let's dig in and talk about it, but first, please click subscribe so you don't miss a thing. Everett Lynch must have some sort of seriously debilitating brain injury to think he can get away with what he's doing right now. He knows his ex-wife, or maybe just his wife, Jada Hunter, also lives in Salem. He just saw her at the Brady pub hanging out with Stephanie Johnson. That's why he did a 180, fled out the door, and ditched his planned meetup with his gal pal. Jada does call Everett her ex. She also calls him Bobby. You know, we could speculate that they're twins, but Stephanie never mentioned her ex having a twin, and Jada never mentioned her husband having a twin. She does call him her ex, but I do wonder if that just means ex because we're broken up, and if there's some kind of chance that she's still married to him. You know, he ghosted her, so she really wouldn't have an address to send divorce papers to. You can divorce a spouse in absentia if they wander off, but it does take a little more work. So whether they're legally divorced or not, it's clear Jada's done with the guy, and I expect Stephanie will be done with him too once she realizes that he was two-timing his wife with her, making her the other woman. Jada is her friend, and Stephanie has listened to her complain about her awful ex who cheated, bought jewelry for another woman, and then ghosted her. And this week, we heard Everett tell Stephanie how much he loves her, how he spent all this time searching for her for the past couple of years after waking up from his coma, and how he hasn't been with another woman since her. That all sounds great. It sounds very devoted, except if Everett and Bobby are one and the same, the guy is a cheating, lying creep who deserves to get dumped. We know Chad DiMera is getting used to seeing him around. Alex Kiriakis is on polite terms with Everett as well. But once the dirty news is all out and they split, what then? Will Stephanie ditch Everett and rebound with one of her exes? I mean, it'd be hard to understand why Stephanie would stay with Everett if she finds out he's a cheating tool bag. I mean, I have to assume that while he was married to Jada and seeing Stephanie on the side, he was sleeping with them both. That means he was cheating on them both. And Stephanie, of course, will feel horribly betrayed to find out he was married this whole time. I mean, Stephanie already found it a challenge to compete with Chad's wife, Abby, whom he still loved, even though she had been killed. And imagine if she finds out she was competing with another wife, Jada, and didn't even know it. And of course, I bet she doesn't want to sit around and think about the fact that she was competing with another woman with no idea it was going on. So yeah, Everett says he chose her, but maybe he was just going to string them both along indefinitely. Maybe he was planning on being a bigamist and marrying Stephanie too. There's just no telling how devious and sketchy that Everett's plans for his dodgy double life were before it's all said and done. So the only way I think Everett comes out of this unscathed and with Stephanie still in his arms is if he has some serious medical malady before the accident that gave him, I don't know, multiple personality, dissociative identity disorder, DID, some kind of thing where he was living two totally separate lives and didn't know he was doing it. Unless he's got two different personas, Everett and Bobby, that didn't know the other existed, he's going to be in trouble. And of course, yes, that sounds insane, I know, but we are talking about days of our lives. Salem is the real-life Walking Dead. The devil possesses people there. People fall from rooftops and survive. People are brainwashed into making them killing machines. There's a doctor who resurrects people, just like he's handing out flu shots. So yeah, all that aside, I suspect Everett is going to be in big trouble soon. And it seems like he's got to be busted during February sweeps, right? it's gone on too long. And when he is, and Stephanie walks out on him, will she turn to one of her former flames for comfort? Let's talk about Alex Kiriakis first. So we know from Rob Scott Wilson that he just filmed the scenes where the big secret about Alex not being Victor Kiriakis' secret son spills out. So we have to assume his relationship with Teresa Donovan hits the skids at that point. But that's still like 5.5 months away, and it seems like Stephanie will be single long before then. But if her emotional recovery takes a while and she doesn't find out until late in sweeps, maybe she'd still be single when Alex tells Teresa, presumably, to take a hike. I have to assume he'll dump her because it's hard to imagine a relationship surviving a breach of trust like that. You know, Teresa ripped Alex away from his loving father, Justin Kiriakis, just to be a petty, vengeful biatch to Xander. She has got to go, even if he doesn't wind back up with Stephanie. As for Chad, he's single now. He's kind of missing Stephanie, but he also knows he probably jumped in too fast, too soon, while he was still grieving Abby's loss. So the question is whether he'll be single when Stephanie splits from Everett. There's a new chick heading to town, Marin, I think her name is, played by Anna Lynn McCord. There's been some question of whether she might be recast Abby back from the dead. We'll see. She's not due on the scene for a few months yet either. If she is not meant for Chad, resurrected Abby, or a new character, whichever, then maybe Chad would be in a better place to get more serious with Stephanie when she's available again. We'll have to see. For now, I'm on the edge of my seat, itching to hear an explanation for what Everett has done, all of his double dealing with Jada and Stephanie. I kind of hope he's got a really good and twisted explanation for this apparent betrayal, and that it's a really soapy thing, but it might just be standard jerky guy behavior. It'll be disappointing if they go that way, but we'll find out soon. So who do you want to see Stephanie with after she's done with Everett? Alex, Chad, or somebody else? Do you think there's any explanation Everett can give to salvage things with Stephanie? Let me know what you think. Drop your comments. Please subscribe and come back soon. We are here talking days, 7 days a week. And as always, it's Belinda from Soap Dirt.
Thank you for being a loyal listener. Follow us wherever you get your podcast, because you don't want to miss the next episode. Soap Dirt is on all the major podcast platforms, including Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more.